Let's get the Viashino Heretic for a single red mana. Pretty cool. Cast Kozilek for very little mana. Get that Kozilek trigger. I'm gonna draw 6. Yeah, that was cool. Archfiend of Despair for 2 mana. Conduit of Ruin for free, because why not? Things are happening.
Today on Commander Replay, we check out a classic commander in Rakdos, Lord of Riots. Can we Eldrazi our way to victory? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Rakdos Lord of Riots today. Today's deck list comes to us from Patreon supporter Taylor. Take a look at this opening hand. It doesn't look too bad. The thing that I'm worried about is that we don't have any of those damage effects that we need for Rakdos, so I'm kind of torn right now. I guess we'll try it. The mana looks good, so we'll give this a go, and hopefully we draw into the pieces that we need. I'm kind of excited about this one. This is one that's been on my radar for quite a long time. I've never personally built it. I've seen it a couple of times over the years, but never a ton. It certainly can be a little bit glassy if you keep Rakdos out of play. Your opponents are stuck with a bunch of really big, expensive creatures in their hand that are probably really difficult to cast. But when it is in play, it's a 6/6 flying trample for 4 mana, and it gives you a crap ton of cost reduction for the amount of damage dealt to your opponents this turn, or the amount of life they've lost, rather. Pretty good. I actually do think it has a lot of similarities to the way that Kaalia plays, which is that if your commander goes down, or your commander's not in play, then you're stuck with a deck that's full of things that are really hard to cast. And there's also like a lot of balancing that has to go on to make sure you have the right number, in our case, of like damage pingers to get that damage rolling to cast Rakdos. So I do think those two decks share some similarities. And also, I do think this will be an interesting matchup, so we'll see how this goes. Anyway, it brings it to our first turn. We draw a Smoldering Marsh. That one can come in untapped at some point. Let's play a swamp. Play the Expedition map. I was looking through the lands. I didn't see a land that like pings. I think the only one that does it is, I think it's the Rakdos land out of Innistrad. There might be one in Ravnica also, but I think they're both really expensive to activate. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited to take a look at this deck, and hopefully we will draw into the pieces that we need. Today we'll be facing off against Sean, piloting Kaalia of the Vast. He's been working on this one a lot over the past couple months, and it's been getting better and better, and I'm actually a little bit worried about what it can do in this game, so that is a thing. Oh, hey now, that's an Impact Tremors coming in for Delta Fiend. And Kana's thinking not. They're going to Swan Song that and give him the bird. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Dragon Skull Summit. I'm not sure that we needed another land right there, but I guess let's play the mountain, actually. We'll pass and then we'll crack an Expedition map. I was hoping that there might be a card draw land in this deck, but I'm not seeing one. Oh, there's a Command Beacon, though. No, Command Beacon still doesn't solve our problems. Probably just puts us on coffers then. Anyway, as far as this deck, we see a bunch of things at 3 mana right here, a bunch of stuff early that can do some damage. We got a Stormfist Crusader, Spear Skewer, things like that, all so that we can get Rakdos into play. Then at the top, we've got a whole bunch of Eldrazi. If you like Eldrazi, this is a really good deck for him. Oh, we got Emrakul in here. That's a particularly nasty one. It That Betrays, no photo. It That Betrays recently sort of reprinted in the form of Turgid, which is super, super nasty. Void Winnower, a card that I absolutely hate. Yeah, there's some really powerful stuff in this deck. That was a Ristic Study for opponent. For me, this was a tricky deck to evaluate the power level of, because I know what it can do if it goes unchecked, which is Eldrazi super early into a game. But on the other hand, if a little bit of removal happens, it can really mess you up with this deck, so that's something to watch out for too. Just a difficult deck for me to evaluate power-wise, so I told opponents, you know, kind of upper mid-power, maybe a little bit stronger, but probably not blazing fast. And opponent's going to attack into the Aminatou with the bird that they gave them. That seems totally fair. Also, it's probably worth getting a shuffle on our library right here. It seems like we've only been drawing lands the first couple turns, so we'll get that Cabal Coffers that we talked about. If I sound a little funny today, it's because I've been fighting a cold for over a week, and I'm still a bit hoarse, having coughing fits pretty regularly, and it's not great. But the show must go on, so here we are. Anyway, it brings us back to our turn. That is a Zerzoth Chaos Rider. Whenever opponent draws their first card each turn, if it's not their turn, you create a Devil. These Devils can do some damage, so I think this is actually going to be pretty helpful. Let's play the Smoldering Marsh, play the Zerzoth, and now I feel like we're pretty good.
about where we are. Not paying for the study. Opponent's gonna tear on the Rhystic Study. That's a pretty good idea. No one needs all that card draw. That kind of brings me to a thing I've been thinking about a lot lately, which is that it's not an easy thing to do, but if you can stop someone's card draw, I think that's a really good way to prevent them from winning the game these days. Oh, there's the Smothering Tithe. Yep, Smothering Tithe and Rhystic Study, kind of ridiculous when they're both in play. I'm glad they shot the study first, but now we have to deal with the Tithe, and we're a Rakdos deck. We are not well suited to dealing with the Smothering Tithe. There's probably 2 or 3 cards in here that do it. I think I did see the new enchantment removal card in black. I forget the name of it. That's a Panharmonicon for opponent. Those are pretty good in an Aminatou deck. Finishing on our opponents, so Kana piloting Aminatou the Fate Shifter, one that we've played on the channel a little bit. My experiences with Aminatou are either that it's going to combo very quickly, or it's going to play the longest, slowest, grindiest Esper value game imaginable. I remember one of the games that I filmed with Aminatou was incredibly long and just filled with triggers galore, and like even when we had board control, it still just took a really long time to end the game. And our final opponent is Delta Fiend piloting Hazezon Tamar, a really cool commander that's super difficult to get a hold of in paper. I was fortunate enough to buy one like 10 years ago when it was $5, and people ask about it in my trade binder periodically. Super cool token commander, makes a bunch of tokens, but does so in a weird way where it's a delayed ETB trigger, so it's very strange. It does spit a bunch of warriors into play equal to the number of lands you control, and that's a pretty good thing to do. I guess we'll attack with Zerzoth first. We'll go into the Aminatou, just because they don't have any open mana up and everyone else does. Oh god, Zerzoth triggers the Smothering Tithe. They're going to make all the mana. Not great. We do draw a Diabolic Tutor. That's interesting. We get a Devil out of the deal, and those are going to be handy for stuff. So here's the question we're faced with. Do we just try and slam a Rakdos right now and eat what is probably a Swords right here? Or do we wait till next turn and then put Akaya's Ghost Form on it? Also, Sean's probably going to be on the table this coming turn, and if there's truly a Swords right here, then they might be inclined to use it on the Kaalia, and whatever Kaalia's doing, I don't know, this is a kind of a tricky place to be, honestly. I'm feeling like I want the more conservative route in this exact second. So I think I'm going to play the Dragon Skull Summit. Then I'm going to play the Diabolic Tutor. Again, I'm playing around removal. If no one actually has the removal and they faked us out, then we totally lost a turn and we'd be out there much, much faster. So, you know, that's a thing. What do we want? Kind of want some card draw. I saw a Necropotence floating around. Is there an Urborg in here? There is an Urborg in here. Urborg might be good just because of the Cabal coffers. Although we have the Nirkana Revenant also. We could just get Feed the Swarm. We should just get Feed the Swarm, I think. That's a pretty unexciting use of a tutor, though. We'll say that. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Feed the Swarm, because Smothering Tithe can't stay in play all game. That's not a thing that can happen. Maybe we should use the Demonic Tutor first, but, well, that's where we are. Figured I'd be mana efficient and spend the bigger one first, but that may have been not correct. Smothering Tithe will get another trip around the table. See, the thing with Smothering Tithe is that now that gives them the ability to easily cast the big stuff in their hand. Going for the Burning Rune Demon. Enters battlefield, you may search your library for exactly 2 cards not named Burning Rune Demon that have different names. If you do, reveal them. An opponent chooses one of them, put it into your hand, the other into the graveyard. Seems good. Aurelia and Lightning Greaves, that's terrifying. Oh god. Ugh. Really? They can hardcast Aurelia next turn. I guess boots to the hand, Aurelia to the graveyard. At least make them work for the reanimation to find it. Hopefully they don't already have it. If they do, that'll look even worse, but ooh. That'll do a removal check in a hurry. Yep, opponent's gonna cast the boots, equip the boots, and swing into the Aminatou. There's 6 damage for them. Passes the turn, Smothering Tithe trigger. Ravenous Chupacabra, this will not be great. Yep, gonna shoot the Zerzoth, not ideal. Oh, and Panharmonicon. Shoots the bird. So the Ravenous Chupacabra would have totally got our Rakdos if we cast it, so I think playing around right there was smart, especially with the Kaya's Ghost Form. But we may be another turn away from it now with needing to feed the Swarm on Smothering Tithe. Ooh, that's a Mana Crypt. Maybe not. We'll give him the token. Play Cabal Coffers. Play Mana Crypt. Swing into Sean. Cool, that hits. We've got the damage we need. Can we get Feed the Swarm, Kaya's Ghost Form, and Rakdos all in the same turn? Probably not. Actually, have we played a land already? We did. We played the Coffers this turn. Maybe we go Nirkana Revenant this turn instead? Yeah, maybe we go Nirkana Revenant. Well, no one played removal last turn, so what does this Aminatou do? Exile another permanent you control, then return it to the battlefield under your control. Oh, yeah. Then they just, without any protection on our commander, that seems like a bad time. I think we very much want to get Rakdos in. Let's tap the Cabal Coffers for mana. Oh, it only makes 2 black? Oh, there's only 2 swamps. Oh, that's not ideal. Yeah, I guess we go about it this way then. This is going to be a little awkward. I don't love this, but I think this is what we do. So, Mana Crypt into the Cabal Coffers. Actually, you know what? With removal on board, like, we can see the removal. We should let someone else do something about that. So we're going to feed the Swarm on Smothering Tithe. But I'm also thinking about the fact that, like, if we lose our damage piece, then it's going to be a pain to get Rakdos into play. Feed the Swarm on Smothering Tithe. Maybe Phyrexian Arena this turn. I want a Demonic Tutor. Any other card draw in the deck? I do like my card draw to be a little bit quicker, but could go for Necro. Necro is very slow, though. I'll Read the Bones. Read the Bones isn't nearly as powerful as the other stuff, though. Yeah, I think I'm on Phyrexian Arena. So, there's something I hate about losing my regular draw with Necro that just don't love it. I don't think we have enough for this. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, maybe it was awkward. Maybe that wasn't the best use of tutors right there, but things a little weird right now with an Aminatou and Ravenous Chupacabra on the board. Also this is also scary. There's a chance that we're playing too passively. There's Kaalia. But Kaalia deck wants to be the threat. We should probably just let them be the threat and, let opponents use their removal that way. Oh yeah, there's a generous gift from the Kaalia. Opponent wants no part of that. Honestly, I might have generous gifted the boots, to be completely honest, because the boots are still very scary in that deck. And also, the boots means that everything can die to the Chupacabra. I'd probably go about it that way. They get a beast. 6/6 coming our way. Yep, gonna feel this. Ooh, Sphere of Safety, gross. That's not great for what we want to do. Also, bad news in that it probably keeps the Kaalia away. Delta Fiend still stuck on lands, not a great place to be. They've discarded an Avenger of Zendikar on one of their previous turns. I mean, with this deck, you should really be running a lot of lands. I know MTGO is unkind, but I don't know. This should be like a 40 land count kind of deck with all of the ramp. Just every bit of ramp you can possibly imagine. Toxic Deluge is interesting right here. Maybe we slow roll the Deluge for a turn, see what we can really catch. And, because right now we're only hitting a couple things, but namely the Chupacabra, so our stuff doesn't get blown up, and this Demon. The Demon's threatening, but if it doesn't hit us every single time, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, maybe we wait. Let's get this Arena into play this turn. I really want to get that card draw going. Yeah, let's just cast the Arena. Not a great use of mana this turn, but kind of setting up for the longer game right here. Next turn, with a land, especially a swamp, I think we should be able to go Toxic Deluge. This will die, and we'll be able to cast Rakdos. Maybe not, because that's a Mazavith. No, actually, we can still cast Rakdos. It'll be hard to get damage through with Rakdos, though. I'm gonna do some attacks. Oh, Sphere of Safety. They paying? Yeah, you might as well do it now while it's only 1 into the Sphere of Safety, because that'll get a lot worse as the game goes on. No big play from Sean this turn. Wonder if he's out of gas. Ponder for opponent. Interesting. Opponent discarded a Supreme Verdict somewhere along the way. I didn't see when. But that's definitely the type of card you want in this matchup. Kaalia and Rakdos at the table. Demonic Tutor for opponent. It's not great. Always makes me nervous in that deck. I wonder if they would go for a wheel. They're down to 2 cards in hand, so makes you wonder. Delta, still stuck on lands. Not a good feeling. Oh, they don't have green. I'm sure that's the problem. I'm sure they've been looking for the green the whole time. There's probably like 10 ramp spells in their hand. The second they get a green, they just cast them all. Discarded and raise Forerunners. Yep, that's a card. Mana Crypt Phyrexian Arena, gonna lose some life to ourselves. Gotta be careful with the Kaalia because they can make us lose more life in a hurry quickly, and if we're losing 3 a turn to ourselves, that's not great. Blasphemous Act, another board wipe. Didn't exactly need that, but it's not awful either. One taps out their mana. Mana Crypt Flip, Tails, lost the flip. Viashino Heretic is not what I was looking for. Yeah, I was really hoping for a land. That's not great. I don't know, based on the way this is going, I think we just get Rakdos this turn. Swinging to Sean for 1. Let's get Rakdos. Then put the Kaya's Ghost Form on it. Try and keep it nice and safe. This is a really powerful card. Oh, they're going to Swords it right away. Really? Well, I guess we gain some life. That's cool. Kaya's Ghost Form fizzles. I guess we pass like that. Ooh, Vampiric Tutor at the end step. Not great. I'm sure they're looking for card draw. There's Kaalia coming back to play. Spending some treasures to do it. That's good. That cuts down their total mana for later in the game. Boots under the Kaalia. Oh, yeah. This could all be a thing. Opponent's thinking not. They're going to shoot the boots right here. Love it. Gets another elephant, has 2 elephants off of generous gifts. They haven't been keeping up with land drops, so those treasures are a big deal for them. Everyone kind of sputtering a little bit in this game. I'm actually a little bit worried about what Aminatou could do, because they've been pretty good about their lands. They're on 7 lands. I'm not sure if they've had their 8th turn yet. It is turn 8 for Sean. No, I think Sean was first in the turn order. So yeah, they've been on top of their lands. They're low on cards, but Aminatou can get you into more cards and just value really well. So those are things. Here comes Aminatou. We're drawing a card or we blinking a permanent? We're going to blink the permanent. I mean, that in and of itself is probably a reason to use a board wipe. Shoots the demon, shoots the Kaalia, both going down. Yeah, we'll need to break up that little bit of value right there. Most definitely. Problem with a deck like this is we can't really attack the Planeswalker with this. Arcane Signet for opponent. There's the forest they've been looking for. Let me guess, all the ramp spells now? Yep, there's a Nature's Lore. Get a second forest. Man, that's the worst. You have like 3 ramp spells in hand in your opener, and you're just like, I just need a forest. That's why I still run Armillary Sphere sometimes. Colorless mana fixing is a big deal. Gets themselves a Cinderglade. There's another forest. Into the Cultivate? Show me the Cultivate. Okay, Springbloom Druid. Close enough. So they're finally getting themselves into the game a little bit, and with the board wipe that we're probably about to play, their tempo isn't as bad as it could be. They're now up to 6 lands. It's their 8th turn, so they're still 2 behind, but with that deck, give it a couple turns. Brings back to our turn, Mana Crypt and Phyrexian Arena. I'd really like to see a land right here, even better if that land is Urborg. It's a swamp, that's a start. Won the flip. It's another swamp. Excellent. 2 land drops, not awful. Play a swamp. Think about our mana here. So this will now produce 3, which makes it mana neutral, which is a big boost for us. Ooh, do we spend the mana to do that? I don't think we do. I don't want to pay for the Sphere of Safety. I think our mana is too valuable for that. So we're going to attack Delta right here. They may or may not block, but this will do 1 damage. They just take. Even better. Oh, Rakdos is going to be 6 right now. That's something to think about. What we could do? That's not a terrible plan. We could Toxic Deluge. We could play the Nirkana Revenant and then Toxic Deluge for 3. Yeah. That seems like a play. To make 4 black, pump this up 1, just in case. Toxic Deluge for 3. And this is to get the Chupacabra off the board. Devil Trigger, we'll ping Aminatou, I guess. So it goes down 1 loyalty, and we'll pass like that. Oop, Sean's stuck. Plays a Sajiri Glacier on the land side. The next thing to do is probably start working on the Esper deck and really try to get them out of removal. It does appear that they are playing Esper Control, and that's just not going to be great for us. They use the +1 mode on Aminatou. Plays a land. I just don't love the fact that we have to attack them and not their Planeswalker because of the Rakdos ability. Ugh, frustrating. Really don't love leaving a Planeswalker in play, especially that one. A lot of different ways for this thing to beat you. Mirari's Wake, that's a pretty good ramp spell. When opponent untaps next turn, they'll probably be right back into this game. We don't have anything for the Mirari's Wake, not at this moment anyway. Back to our turn, Mana Crypt, Arena. That's Kozilek the Great Distortion. That's a pretty cool card. Tails, lost the flip. That's an Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Oh my, that solves a lot of problems. That's 3, that's 5, that's 5. This is 6, which means Ugin does not hit our stuff. We do lose our Arena, but Kozilek will get us that same level of card draw. Oh my, I think we're ready for a turn. Play a swamp, play Ugin the Spirit Dragon. We get 4 off the Cabal Coffers, not too bad, not too bad. Oh my god, can we still cast Kozilek directly after that? I think we can if we tap our lands better. Oh my god. Doesn't appear that we need any red mana, so we'll leave the Mana Crypt up. Did I miscount? Pretty sure I miscounted that. Okay, let's just cast Ugin then. We'll figure everything else out afterwards, actually. Yeah, we definitely don't have enough for Kozilek this turn. Might have enough for Rakdos, though. Casting Ugin. Ugin for 5. Get rid of the problematic permanents, being Aminatou and Mirari's Wake. Swaying into the Esper player. Oh, that hits. Opponent goes down to 19. That means we can recast Rakdos. Pretty sure we can. I think we have enough mana. Oh, we may not have enough red. Nope, we have exactly enough. There it is. Boom. Rakdos back to play. Yeah, at least for this moment, we have taken the lead. We have some things in play that opponents need to deal with. Dawnbreak Reclaimer, that could change things. That can change things in a hurry. Get back a Ravenous Chupacabra and shoot our thing. With them also getting back other nasty stuff. He's taking a lesson from the old Commander replay. Dawnbreak Reclaimer. Good for taking down the arch enemy. The question is, can you trust them with the Chupacabra, a Panharmonicon, and an Aminatou? Okay, they go for the Springbloom Druid, so they do not trust that. But opponent does get themselves another Burning Rune Druid trigger. I forget if I've talked about this before, but Nirkana Revenant is an interesting card in that I don't think it's ever been cheap in its existence. It's a miracle. Opponent casts a Temporal Mastery. That's not good. That can do some things. So I remember when Nirkana Revenant came out, it wasn't in any competitive standard decks, and it was still like a $16 card, I think just off of casual play. And, mind you, this is 10 years ago, so Commander wasn't really driving prices yet, at least not on a lot of things, and especially not in the way that it does now. I am seeing that when this got reprinted in Battle Bond, it dropped down to about 5 or so, which is like the cheapest it's ever been. But, you know, I remember looking at this thing being like, that's a cool card, I'd like to run it. You're like, holy crap, it's $15. I think I got one somewhere, I don't remember where, but this thing is surprisingly strong. Cryptghast, as good as it is, because it's 4 mana, it tends to come down at that point in the game where someone usually plays a board wipe right after you cast it. Now, if it doesn't, you're golden. But just because Nirkana Revenant is a bit slower, it comes in a little bit later, I think it tends to stick a little bit longer. And it's just a powerful card. It does a lot. Primordial Mists, I'm sure I'm not going to like this. At the beginning of your end step, you may manifest. Exile a face down permanent you control. You may play that card this turn. Interesting. At least opponent's low on cards, but they're getting some value going here. Did opponent not play the Miracle? Oh no, that was both their turns. I got chit-chatting and looking up the price of this thing. So that was both of opponent's turns. All things considered, not too bad. Oop, that's an Aura mutation. Gonna get rid of that Primordial Mist. There's a card that I should probably run more than I do. I guess I don't play tons of green-white, but it's a pretty cool card. Yeah, opponent's gonna get themselves a bunch of 1/1s. Seems pretty good. They're gonna go everything into our Ugin. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna lose Ugin then. That is unfortunate. Might as well block one just to eat it, make sure it's not a problem later. Ugin goes down, brings it back to our turn. This is kind of a big moment in the game, I feel like. Really use some haste. I think we won the flip, still at 19. Play a swamp, more mana. More mana is decent. 2 board wipes in hand, but the cost of them is not ideal. Do we need to kill this Dawnbreak Reclaimer? Yeah, we do, but I don't want to give up Rakdos and Nirkana Revenant to do it. Trying to figure out what the play is here. I think it's probably something like this. Gotta be careful in the air, that's a lot of flying. Kana in the air and Aminatou on the ground. I think we're about to do the thing. I feel very good. Opponents had... Oh, there's still a Mazavith in play. Mazavith, not ideal. Yeah, opponent's gonna block with the 2/2. We get the damage in, and that's kind of a big deal. Man, I really feel like we should play this board wipe. You wanna know what we could do? Oh, we'd have to give up Nirkana Revenant to do it, but if we played Black Sun for X5, gets rid of the Dawnbreak Reclaimer. That's a really big deal. Also, there's haste over here, which means tokens could be a problem. Something big and trampoly could come down with haste. Our life total is not super high. We would lose the... Ooh, yeah, we wouldn't even be able to save the Nirkana Revenant because... Actually, no, we could. If we pumped enough mana into it. We're to play a land this turn. We've played a swamp already, so okay. That being the case, let's just see what this kind of looks like. We get 5 extra mana off the Cabal Coffers. So we'd have to pay 1 more into that to go... Actually, no, we'd have to pay 2 more into it to go X5. That would look something like that. I guess there's no point to even try to save this. It's just going to go down. And this thing's only going to cost, what, like 3 mana? Costs 4 mana. So tap up all of our swamps. Start there. I think we can add red with this one and still get a black also. Yep, it does work like that. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so play the Black Sun Zenith for X5. We clean up a lot of the problematic stuff on board. Let's get the Viashino Heretic for a single red mana. Pretty cool. Cast Kozilek for very little mana. 4 mana. Get that Kozilek trigger. I'm gonna draw 6. Yeah, that was cool. Ooh, Archfiend of Despair, huh? Archfiend of Despair for 2 mana. No big deal. There's the Urborg we so badly need. Conduit of Ruin for free, because why not? How many card types are in our graveyard? Oh, there's some nasty stuff up there. Void Winnower is an option. Check on card types. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 card types, which means Emrakul costs 7, which means I think we can get an Emrakul, or we could get an Ulamog. Let's get an Ulamog. Oh, does it put it on top? Oh, it goes on top. Doesn't go directly into hand. Things are happening. Get the Arcane Signet into play. Would love to bedevil the Aminatou or even hold it up for whatever might happen over here, but I guess that's just not going to happen. But we can leave a, we have counter spells for 3 and 9 mana currently, so that's exciting. When it goes down to 7 off of the Archfiend trigger, probably should have went Void Winnower. Shut off a lot of the board wipes. Although I guess it still doesn't come down till next turn. Oh no, D-Spark on the Kozilek. We don't have anything at 2. I thought about holding that Arcane Signet for that too. I'm just going to draw a card with Aminatou and do that bit. Mnemonic Wall. Don't love that. Ooh, Panharmonicon, gross. Getting Supreme Verdict, not great. Not great. They have the mana. Ugh. If nothing else, I really wanted to shoot the Panharmonicon. That's what's going to kill us. And the other on Demonic Tutor. After this, we're going to be short on card draw. Yep, there's the Supreme Verdict. Everything going down. Rakdos back to the command zone. I guess Ulamog deals with the Panharmonicon. I'd probably go Ulamog on Panharmonicon. I think it hits lands if it does. Mazavith, although Fires is a real card too. But Mazavith, ooh, can be super annoying. This one can stop you from winning. This one can just straight kill you. Kodama's Reach. We are Rakdos, so gaining life, not the easiest thing for us to do. Although I think I did see a Sangromancer in the deck. Huatli, Warrior Poet. Makes it 3-3. It has haste. Into our face. Yep. Down to 16. Lost the flip. There's Ulamog. Play the Urborg. There's 9 mana. 10 mana. Cast Ulamog. Exile Panharmonicon. Don't want any more of that in my life. Think the other one's the Fires. And then I'll just be sad about the Maze of Ith. Yeah, we're at a place where I think the Fires can beat us. We have sorcery speed removal too, so that's a thing to keep in mind. Yeah, I guess that's it for now. We'll bedevil the, yeah, bedevil's an instant. We'll bedevil the Aminatou before they untap with it. That's a Gisela. That can also kill you in a hurry. Now there's some things to think about. Choose left or right. Each player gains control of all non-land permanents other than Aminatou. Oh, God. Now this is a Gisela. I guess bedevil the Aminatou. I guess we're indestructible, so we can just Blasphemous Act the Gisela. I would like to do that once these Sand Warriors are in, though. This does require us to have some flying blocking. Oh God. Gisela, Mana Crypt, we need to win the flips. Opponent says he has something for Ulamog. That's really not good. Demonic Tutor. There's Aminatou's Augury. Exile the top 8, put a land in until end of turn. Cast a spell for each non-land card type without paying its mana cost. What do we get? Conjurer's Closet. Merciless Eviction. Exile all creatures. That, I guess that's fine. Deals with Gisela. We can save our board wipe. Don't really have a follow-up. If we draw a land, we're in some trouble. I think I did see a Torment of Hellfire in this deck. Yeah, we've got a Torment in here. That'd be something to look at. Conjurer's Closet. Thassa. Oof. Any ETB creature, just so much value. They have a Karmic Guide in exile. There's a Karmic Guide. Yep. Bring back everything. Get back the Mnemonic Wall. Yep. So now the problem is it's going to be like impossible to get through this without haste. Also, this can tap our stuff down. It's even worse. Yeah. Ooh, Swan Song. They have the blue. Not going to get a Torment through. Yep. Conjurer's Closet and Thassa end step. Oh, boy. Ravenous Chupacabra. Actually, no one else has any creatures. They can get another spell back, though. Getting Chulane. That a May? No, just says opponent controls. Getting back Aminatou's Augury. Disgusting. Here comes Hazezon. Yep. Opponent's going to use the life gain mode. Brings back to our turn. Won the flip. Dreadbore is something. I think we have to Blasphemous Act. I don't think there's any way we can't do that. This is too much value. But then there's going to be a whole bunch of tokens next turn. Like, they just get all of their spells back. There's a bunch of tokens. We don't really have an answer for the tokens. You know what? This is a situation where I think we have to pick who we're going to lose to. I would rather lose to the token deck. Losing to the Esper deck feels awful. I was expecting some nonsense like this. This nonsense has happened, so they're just going to counter it, I guess. So there's that. We have a bird. That's a blocker. That could potentially get damage in somewhere to get Rakdos back, so I guess that's not the end of the world. Yeah, this is the thing I don't love either about this deck, is that if you don't have damage late in a game like this, you can't cast your commander. Bojukabog, please exile their graveyard. Yep, getting rid of that graveyard, thank God. Thank God. They can still do a lot of damage this turn, but it's not as bad as it would have been otherwise. I think they had pulled all the creatures out, so like even if we blow up the creatures, Karmic Guide's still an issue. Jessica's Will, huh? Can I exile the top 3? Yep. Looking for answers. Yeah, stuff. Get a Signet and a Demonic Tutor? Why not? Oh, they can tap Urborg for mana if they want. I probably would right here. There isn't a lot of power on board. I would use that Demonic Tutor big time. Big time. They don't use it. I would have used it. Because that gets you to a thing that like refills your hand or does something impactful. Like, this deck isn't going to kill you with damage necessarily. It's going to kill you by taking turns and doing other stuff. This is a token deck, so Maze of Ith not that helpful. And, like, we're not doing that much right now, so. Karmic Guide goes down, they don't pay for it. Here's the Augury again. Oh, man, this card. So strong. There's Vampire Tutor in there. Austere Command, Path to Exile, Felidar Guardian. Ew. It can't be that far away. Land, Vampiric Tutor. Sure, that's bad. Felidar Guardian. Ugh. Do it all again. Target the Mnemonic Wall. Get back Vampire Tutor. Funny story, if they cast it again right now, they shuffle away the previous one. They're going to wait. See, now I wish all these Hazezon tokens had haste, because we have an Aminatou problem that we need to deal with. Conjurer's Closet on the Mnemonic Wall. Get back the Augury. Thassa on the Chupacabra. Do they shoot our bird? No, they're going to go for the Hazezon. So that's actually not how you want to play that, because if Hazezon's in play with the Warriors, you just shoot Hazezon then and it gets rid of all the Warriors. Now, they need a board wipe to deal with the Warriors. It's that whole out of order triggers thing. Sort of like Oblivion Ring. There's the Augury. Yep. Here comes the Warriors. Gets 9 of them. They can give them haste. Probably take multiple players out of the game. Cultivate. It's not haste. Yeah, they'll make it 3/3 with trample. Show me haste. Slate of Ancestry. That's a card. Not enough to activate it this turn, though. But enough to activate Scavenger Ground. That's something. Come on, something that gives +3 on our bird. Lost the flip. Ouch. Down to 10. Oh, that's not what we want to see. Play the mountain. Swing into opponent. They go down to 3. We can get our commander back. That's something. Commander's like 8. I think we dreadbore the Faladar Guardian. I've been trying to think about what's the most dangerous. I think it's that. And we're empty-handed. They think they have a counter. They're going to utter end our Rakdos. Do we have a second red? Oh, we do have more red. Do we have enough to recast it right now? Let's try it. Oh, we do. Yeah. Got your utter end right here. Recast Rakdos. Back to play. And pass like that. Animate Dead. Oh. Hey now. On Aurelia. Oh, love it. It is only a 2/4 because of Animate Dead. Yep, first one into the Esper player. I don't think we can let them have another turn. The problem becomes these tokens. Down to 1. Do it again. Down they finally go. Oh, that's an Angelic Arbiter. Oh my. That's interesting. It does have an X damage mode, but it's 1 short of shooting the Angelic Arbiter. So do you risk it and activate this? I mean, you draw 10, so that's cool. The question is, will you find removal in those 10 cards to shoot the Angelic Arbiter? They're just going to gain some life. Oh, there's Beast Within. Didn't even need to activate it. Now what do? They go to combat. Everything into Sean. We're going to stay alive for a little while. Love it. And the Maze of Ith is tapped. Excellent. Just need a big draw. Just need a really big draw. I hate that we had to burn 2 tutors early in the game. Super disappointing having to do that. This is the spot in the game where you want a tutor. Early game, you still don't know quite what you need yet. Be very happy to play a Diabolic Tutor right now. Knight of the Reliquary, legit card. Back to our turn. Mana Crypt. Need to win this. Well, Giselle's not in play. That's good. Tails, won the flip. Staying at 10. Tibolt's Trickery. Interesting. Not exactly what I was hoping on. Doesn't exactly stave off death. What's the ultimate on this? Kills our thing? Huh. I mean, I almost feel like we just stay put. We're in the triangle. We're in the triangle of death. You know, maybe we send the bird just to tick that down a little, I think is what we do. We tick the Huatli down to 5. We pass like that. No attacks with Aurelia. I probably would have at least hit the Planeswalker or something. I think we're about to get crushed by some tokens. Opponent did not activate Slate of Ancestry before their end step. Interesting. Doing the Reliquary thing. Yep. Gaining more life. Yep. Ticking this thing back up. Gonna keep working on the Kaalia player. Works for me. Just pray for that Torment of Hailfire. That's what we're on. Although with tokens and Slate of Ancestry, I don't know that we can pump enough mana into it. They're gonna block 1. Down to 17. Back to our turn. Mana Crypt. See how long we can keep dodging these. Tails again. Lost this one. Down to 7. Void Winnower is a magic card. Huh. Does that just get us killed? Probably. But it also shuts off a ton of nonsense, so I guess that's what we're doing. We'll do the same thing with the bird. Tick down the Huatli. Lord of the Void. That's a magic card. I told opponent they're safe from us if they want to attack. There's the Aurelia trigger. Yep. They really wish they had a haste land with that Lord of the Void, because that would do some serious work right now. Interesting interaction with Tibolt's Trickery and Void Winnower. If we put them into an even spell, they wouldn't be able to cast it. Also, Rule of Law effects work. Dranith Magistrate can be pretty nasty with this thing. So they're going to tick down the Huatli a bunch. That's fine. Still hasn't activated the Slate. They must have good cards in hand. Gonna keep gaining life, plussing the thing. Everything into Sean. He can block a few, eat a few more. Actually, no, he can't block with Aurelia. He can block with Lord of the Void, though. We're going to need something special if we want to chew through opponent's 40 life. Maze of Ith, 1 token. Yep. So they lose a token, take some damage, go down to 10, and maze 1 more. Oh, that's a Blasphemous Act. Thinking not. I don't think we can win if Blasphemous Act. It's hard for us to recast our commander, so I think that's the time to Bolt's Trickery, and then take our chances with Aurelia and Lord of the Void. Raid Bombardment. Oh, that seems bad. Things got worse. Whenever a creature you control attacks with power 2 or less, it deals 1 damage to that player or planeswalker it's attacking. It's not great. Gonna put us on a short clock. Gonna draw a bunch of cards. Less than before, we've eaten some tokens along the way. Goes up to 8. Discards Wrath of God, Vandal Blast, and a Conley Heart Expedition. I've always wanted to use Slate of Ancestry, but you just gotta be in the right deck, and I just never play tokens. I'm not much of a token player, so I don't run it very much. Cycles of Scattered Groves. That tells me they probably didn't find what they were looking for. Aurelia Lord of the Void could, if they could haste down a 3rd creature, then we might actually be able to get there. I don't know how we beat Kaalia. I haven't worked that math out yet, but Mana Crypt. Tails. On the flip. staying at 7. Command Tower is not the card we're looking for. Yeah, with this thing in play, we're basically out of time. So send him? I mean, that cuts him in half, puts him down to 21. 21 is manageable for an Aurelia, a Lord of the Void, and like a third creature. Some double strike could get them there. He's sending it. If he hits a creature with haste, the Lord of the Void. The time for a Boros Charm, double strike mode. Oh, right, they can't because the Void wouldn't work. The Lord of the Void exiles a bunch of stuff. Gets a Radha. It itself does not do the thing. It doesn't pump the team. You need it to pump the team right here. Splits the damage up. Lord of the Void and Aurelia into us. Chroma's Will's gone. Let's see what they have. Savage Beating could do it. Savage Beating. There it is. There it is. Opponent have an answer? Oh, can exile graveyards. Okay, that's fine. I think Sean's gonna get it. Yeah, they kill us easily on the next one. Lord of the Void. Double strike. Lord of the Void double strike. Pretty cool. Mardu combat is actually fun. There's a lot of black creatures that do cool stuff when they hit opponents. Lord of the Void being one of them. Necropolis Regent is also really cool. Opponent goes down. Back to combat. Yep, we are dead, so we can scoop it right there. Yeah, so Rakdos. Ooh, Sunburst and Comeuppance, yeah. So, thoughts on this deck. This deck type would have been very popular, maybe 8 years ago or so. The top end of the deck is very powerful, but I think the issue with this deck is exactly what we saw here. We made our big play, and then opponents just answered it. It's all very sorcery speed, which means just a normal board wipe can really shut down what you're doing, and we definitely felt that a whole lot. Rakdos gives you something really powerful, but is also very awkward in that it can be tough to recast late in the game if you don't have one of your pingers in play, and that's not always the most ideal. Having not played a ton of Rakdos, I don't know what the ideal balance of pingers to big creatures in the deck is, so you probably need a more experienced Rakdos player, but I'm sure there's some number that is about where you want to be on those. Overall, I thought the deck did well. Like Nirkana Revenant help us hardcast some stuff, and I might suggest a few more things to help you when Rakdos isn't in play. A really easy one is a Quicksilver Amulet. I would definitely run this in a deck like this because, especially the Eldrazi that don't require cast triggers, this is just super helpful. Also, you can kind of play things at instant speed too, which is nice. I would definitely add something like that. The card draw was a bit lacking. I think it's mostly on the hands of Phyrexian Arena and Necropotence. Didn't see maybe a Bloodgift Demon, but I didn't see a lot of extra card draw in the deck. I would probably look to add 2 or 3 things there. It depends on how you want to go, but even things as simple as Ambition's Cost, I think is very powerful. Just helps you keep getting lands, helps you get to like some signets, maybe find a big thing, whatever the case is. There's also Ancient Craving, which is the same card. Promise of Power is very reasonable. You don't have a lot going on at 5 mana, so might be worth looking at a Promise of Power. Probably wouldn't be the worst thing, Skull Clamp, just because people are going to want to kill your things. So that could be another way to look at some cards. But yeah, our problem was just that we ran out of cards that kind of mattered toward the end there. Like I said, we made our big play, opponent stopped it, and then we were just like, ooh, this is not a good place to be. There are combo versions of Rakdos where there's some infinite loops. I forget what the loop is exactly. I think there's a colorless 4-mana creature that returns a thing to your hand, and then there's like the, I think it's one of the Emerge Eldrazi just does a life loss thing. There might be some other stuff too that you can do with it, but a deck like that is going to be more resilient to just getting crushed by a sorcery speed board wipe. The other thing that I would look at is probably a bit more reanimation. You have all these big creatures. People are going to want to blow them up if you have them, so having ways to get them back. Black has tons of reanimation. Pick the cards you like. I'm personally an Animate Dead Necromancy kind of guy. I don't always like the life loss from Reanimate, especially this deck has plenty of other ways to lose life to itself already, so I'd probably go in that direction. A Living Death, maybe? It's not exactly a typical Living Death type deck, but it's a good card. If you like a lot of mana, Rise of the Dark Realms is always good. Something like that could be handy. As far as reanimation cards, I would have at least 2. You could go to 3 or 4 easily, though. Because even like Animate Dead on opponent's Solemn Simulacrum is a reasonable thing at some points in a game. One interesting one that's popped onto my radar somewhat recently for Rakdos is Cauldron Dance. Cast only during combat. Return target creature card from the graveyard. That creature gains haste. Return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. That creature gains haste. Its controller sacrifices it at the beginning of the next end step. That's a really good way to just like get some big things in play and get some stuff going. Works well with big creature type decks like this. I'd probably look at something like this. Also, it's just a fun card. Another card in that vein too is Sneak Attack. I don't know what the price is of them now. I know they were expensive. They got a reprint. I'm not sure what they came down to, but could be handy if all your Eldrazi are stuck in your hand. If you're using this, you probably want more reanimation in the deck. That'll give you more of that explosiveness. Some other things to think about. I really wanted to see some haste in the deck. Because we're able to hardcast things with like Magus of the Coffers and Nirkana Revenant, at the very least, I would add a Flamekin Village. This is a haste land that makes colored mana, which is a big deal for Rakdos, so I would definitely add that into the deck. You've got Lightning Greaves. We never found them, sadly. You could add something like an Urabrask. Actually, yeah, Urabrask wouldn't be an awful idea because it will get cost reduction, and the tap mode for opponents is also pretty handy. You could just go for a Fervor if you wanted. I would probably try to get just a little bit more haste in the deck. Like if we could have hasted down that Void Winnower at the end, that would have been some extra damage that I think would have really mattered. Kind of changed things up a bit. You want to know what also might not be awful for this deck? Not the most exciting card ever, but Sandstone Oracle. 7 mana, 4/4. Enters the battlefield, choose an opponent. You draw cards equal to the difference in your hand. So if they have 7 and you have 4, you get 3 extra cards. Like I said, I just don't think we looked at enough cards in this game, especially for a longer game like that. Control decks in general will force you to have to generate more resources than you would otherwise, because your stuff's just going to get blown up a lot, and that's what happened to us. So you just need to be able to go deeper into your deck. If you're facing a less control-heavy setting, then like you don't need to draw as many cards, but it just kind of depends on what you're facing. Also, of note, that control deck did allow the Hazezon player to actually climb into the game a bit. If you have a quote-unquote more typical Commander game where control's kind of gone out of favor these days with like things getting so unbelievably powerful, there's just so much incentive to be proactive in a game of Commander now that control isn't nearly as popular as it used to be. That is one reason that games are shorter. There are many others as well. That being the case, the control deck did force this game to go longer when you have a terrible opening like the Hazezon player did. If someone's going to just keep the board clear until turn 10, you have plenty of time to get back into the game. And I thought that was worth noting because most games don't play out like that anymore. If you get stuck early, it's probably a death sentence and you're probably not going to have time to really get caught up because so many people are on the proactive plan these days. Anyway, so there's some things to think about. Maybe a touch more card draw in the deck. Removal felt pretty good. I thought we were decent there. Maybe some tricks to haste things into play or to get some more action going if Rakdos isn't in play. Would love to see a Flamekin Village. Oh, another thing too is maybe some of the draw lands, like some of the stuff that I always use. You want to be careful because you don't want a ton of colorless lands because of Rakdos color requirements. Actually, I would probably cut this Reliquary Tower. I guess it works with Necropotence. Maybe that's a reason to keep it. Be careful with the colorless lands. War Room, Bonder's Enclave, Gaia Reach, Sanitarium, Makokoro, all that sort of stuff. I would look at least a couple of those because if we could have looked at a couple extra draws late in the game where we had a lot of mana, nothing to do, we may have been able to get to that Torment that we so badly needed, but, you never know. So, yeah, that's probably what I would do. Maybe a couple quick changes in the land base as well. But overall, we got to do the thing. Just very sad that our opponents answered the thing as soon as we did it. Perhaps building in a way to make it a little bit more resilient. That's going to be some reanimation and things like that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching. Hey guys, help support me and save 15% on singles by using the promo code REPLAY at mothershipaTX.com. Commander Replay t-shirts, available in orange and colors beside orange.